Hi white people, hi black people, hi everybody, hi whoever's decided to click on this video. You probably already know what I'm here to talk about. Try to keep it as politically correct as I kind of can, but you know, I just got to get into it. You know, take it for what you want to say. There'll be some facts in there. Some of this will be my opinions. You decide what you want to decide at the end. Now I want to start by saying I'm a Puerto Rican. What does that mean? My families were white Spanish people from Europe years ago, and there were also their black slaves, and they were brought over here and they mixed with a few Indians. So I got a little bit of everybody in me. What does that mean? I'm not here to be racist against anybody. I'm not here to tell anybody they're right or they're wrong. I'm just here to express my viewpoints, and you can take it for what you will. You know, something I like to say, really to start off this video, you know, if you're out there, you see a black person, you're a cop, and you're whatever other race, the way I like to look at it now is like, it's not a viewpoint I've always had. It's just the way I've really learned to see it now, and I feel like it's just the way that makes the most sense. Don't think about it. I don't think about it anymore. It's just like, you're whoever you are, you're whatever you are. You could be Asian, you could be Spanish, you can be black, you can be white. I'm not gonna come up to you like, oh, you're black, oh, you're white. Like, I'm not gonna do that in my mind. I don't, like, that's a waste of time and energy. You're already walking up there with an idea of who they are, how they should be, what kind of people they are, what do they act like. Don't even get there before you even started talking to them. And then when you start talking to them, you find out, oh, they're different than you. Let me calm my level down. I don't want to sound too aggressive because I'm trying to make this appealing to anyone who wants to watch this. But what was I saying? Yeah, they're different than you. Maybe you're some not black cop and there's some black guy in the ghetto area, and yeah, they're gonna talk different than you, they're gonna look different than you, they're gonna act different than you. But you gotta understand, anyone who's not you is gonna fall into that category. I'm gonna say that again. Anyone who's not you is going to fall into that category. Nobody else is you but you. Everybody you talk to is gonna look different, is gonna act different, is gonna talk different. They're gonna come from a different background. They live in a different environment. This is the beauty of life. That's the beauty of the countries we live in, that we can be diverse and we don't have to all be the same. There's nothing wrong with it. Now there's racism. A lot of racism comes from fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of different. It goes back into human tribal times when we used to live in tribes of 150 people and you were afraid of outsiders. You would be afraid of an outsider, but that doesn't have anything to do with racism. It doesn't matter if the outsider looked like he could be your brother, your sister, your father, your mother. If they were an outsider, you were afraid of them because they could bring sickness, they could bring famine, they could bring plague, they could bring war, they could bring diseases, they could kill, they could ruin your whole tribe. It had nothing to do with them, with their color whatsoever. I mean, slavery started years and years, I don't even know how many years ago. Egyptians, they said they had slaves then, but they didn't pick it based on their nationality, their race. It was just, they had a system. I don't know if they used it, but I know a lot of countries in the past used this, where it's like, we conquered your land, now your people are slaves. They don't really consider their color, and you know, a ruler of Egypt could actually be black, but people don't like to talk about that. That duck's going around. I don't know, I feel like I really got out a lot of good points. I'm gonna pause. I would like to take your attention now to a study that they did. I mean, I call it like they tested racism in a sense, and they had babies, right? And they wanted to see how these babies would respond to people of different cultures, but also considering what their family was like. And they did notice, yes, the baby had a familiarity bias, and it was more friendly and more happy to see people of certain culture, certain skin color, certain races. But what they discovered is that it's not that the baby was naturally racist, it was that the baby was just at a familiarity bias, as I said. And if it was a white baby raised by black people, then that's what it's familiar with, that's what it's be more comfortable with. It doesn't really matter. We get used to growing up in these environments, growing up around certain kind of people, and then when we see other people, we get afraid of them. And I don't know, I'm just trying to really give you some insight to break to break free of that. I mean, I wanted to make this video message towards cops because there's too much cruelty, there's too much violence, there's too much just wrongness going on with cops, and I see it myself. I believe I mentioned this in another video. Like, I really feel for black people because I'm not even black. Like, I mean, I could have some of my ancestry, but clearly my skin isn't dark. That's not a racist comment, just a objective comment. And when I walk around in my own neighborhood, place I live, if I go north from where I live, you get like nicer areas, you get like nicer houses, you know. There's like, you know, I don't want to say small mansions, they look like that, but I'm sure they're not really that expensive and they just look like they're nice. But you know, you get a lot of white people there, you get a lot of older people there. Not to be racist, just really objective comment right here. I see the way they look at me. You want to know what's really objective, so I don't even have to be judging someone? This one time I was walking, now given it's at night, and I'm walking just because I wanted to walk then. It was just for pure exercise. I wasn't going anywhere. I was literally like 2 blocks at most off from where I actually live. And this lady, as she's walking by, she stops in front of a house. She stands in front of their driveway where the light is beaming. Like, she clearly wanted to be in a place where people can see her, and she stopped there and she waited for me to walk by. Now, you take that how you want to take it. You know, I'm not saying she was racist, but there was definitely a lot of prejudice there. She basically told me, hey, I'm on to you. I know that you look like a potential person who might kidnap me, who might mug me, who might rape me. And I'm just like, what would you do if I was a black person? What are you gonna do? Call the cops? Because I'm walking here? Like, what would you do if I actually was black? If I actually was a darker skin color? It's just like, people get afraid of me. I'm not that big. I'm probably about 5'8" to 5'9"-ish. Maybe just a little bit bulkier than a normal person. As people look at me, they're like, oh, he's gonna mug me because he's bigger than me. It's like, what is that? We gotta learn to, I mean, this isn't gonna hit probably most people, but the point of this message right here is probably it's not even gonna hit the people who it's supposed to hit. But we do gotta learn to stop letting ourselves get in our way. Our minds, our thoughts, our actions, our emotions, we gotta be more objective about them. We gotta take into consideration, when are we wrong? We can't always assume that because we feel a certain way, because we think a certain thought, that makes it right. Thoughts and emotions just pop in our body all day and all night long. And how many times have you been wrong? Think about it. But when you're right, you think you're right until you're proven wrong. It's like a cognitive bias that we have in our sides of us. I'm trying to just explain to you that the way you're feeling, the way you're thinking, the way you look at that person, whatever race, nationality, religion he may be, is just your viewpoint. He has his own viewpoint. He's his own person. He has his own life. He has his own thoughts. Lots of times they have their own family. Most of the time they have their own family. Hopefully they do. They have people that want them to go home to be with them. When you shoot a father, you kill a father, you didn't just ruin his life. You took it away. Forget ruin his life. You took it away. But what happens to his family? Don't you think about, I mean, this obviously isn't for everyone, but if you are a person in power, you walk around with a gun, please, before you shoot somebody, think about that he has a family to go home to. That if you kill this man, if you put this man in jail, if you harass this man, if you do anything to harm this man, a real human being with his own life, just like you, but he has a different skin color. That's the only difference. And that's just because of where he came from. There was more sun on him. His skin developed. It's no big deal. There's nothing really separating him from you besides just, you know, fragments of just nothingness, I'm just gonna call it. But if you took away his life or if you sent him to jail, that's not just him. Even if he was wrong, you gotta remember, I'm gonna just get to this point. You putting him in jail or you killing him, he might have a wife, a girlfriend, you know, a family, a mother, a father, children that are gonna be without that person. He could be supporting his own kids. You might put him in jail, like maybe you don't kill him, maybe you just put him in jail, and even if he was wrong, now his kids are starving because of you. Because what he really did probably wasn't really that bad. This isn't a topic right now that YouTube wants to hear about, but maybe he was smoking weed, all right? Maybe, I don't know, he was jaywalking. Maybe he gave you an attitude. Maybe you don't like black people, all right? Whatever it is, at least if you don't like him, please think about his family. Think about the fact that you're gonna take a father away from children and a wife, a mother, a girlfriend, whatever it is, and they're not gonna have somebody to go to work for them. They're not gonna have somebody to pay their rent, to keep them inside of a home, to give them food to eat, to take them to school, to be a father for them, to help those kids grow. So by you ruining this man's life, you ruin his family's life, and that could go on forever. Now you ruin these kids' life, you ruin that woman's life, just they're there. They're there. You ruined that woman's life, you ruined these kids' life. Now what happens to their kids, and their kids, and their kids? It doesn't just stop with them. It could go on forever. You're creating worse society, harder conditions for black people or minorities to grow and to live in. And then that one effect, you affecting that one person, whether he was right or wrong, doesn't just stop with him. It affects his family and everyone who comes from that family. I want a better world for everyone. That's why I'm making this video. I want a better world for everyone. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it on that point. If you can't objectively look at him and objectively look at your emotions and make a rational decision because you're under a lot of pressure, because I know jobs are stressful these days. I'm not saying that being a cop is the easy job to do. I don't want to be a cop. I don't want to be a police officer. I don't know, anything else where you're in like some kind of power like that, where you walk around with a gun. That's not necessarily a job for me. I don't want to have to handle that. I know I don't even want a job because they force you to give out parking tickets now when you're a cop. That's horrible. They force you, not just parking, but just give out tickets in general. So you have a quota, you have standards you have to live up to. If you arrest people, maybe that helps you get promotions because it looks like you're doing your job. But at the end of the day, at the end of your life, what's really gonna matter more? Are you really gonna put yourself in front of all these people? Are you really better than all these people? It's kind of like, I think about it like the guy who owns McDonald's. Like for that one person and his family to get rich, millions and millions, if not billions of people have worse lives. They're dying. They're riddled with diseases, with diabetes, you know, so much fat that they can't deal with, and they're addicted to his food so that he can be rich. Don't put yourself before the whole world. Your job is not that important. Your life is important, but you know what? If your life is hurting other people's lives, if your life is to take away from other people, maybe you should consider a different job. Now, you're not going to just leave your job. I understand that you have financial responsibilities. Honestly, though, my ultimate like goal, realization, life's just journey, mission is just to help other people, to give to other people, because that's what makes me feel good. And it doesn't make me feel good when I know I'm hurting other people. And you might get like momentary highs, spikes of excitement, where your numbers are going up, you're getting promoted, you're making more money, but at the end of your life, you're not going to be happy. Because you're not going to be happy for two reasons. One, you're going to know that you hurt and you ruin a lot of people's lives. And two, if you don't know that, you're still going to carry around all that bad energy, all that negative energy that's being sent to you. That's a real thing. We're beings of energy. Energy is real. They have energy. They have life force. Please don't spend your life ruining other people's lives, whatever job you're in. Maybe you're a parking ticket guy. Honestly, I think that's a job. That's a job if I wouldn't do. I wouldn't accept it. I would not be the kind of guy who has to get parking tickets. Like, my job is to go around making poor people more poor. I'm just gonna end this video. I put in a lot of good points. Anything that stick with you, anything, whatever point, pick the one that stand out to you, hold on to it, let it grow inside of you, because you're not gonna just get some sudden realization, or maybe you do. But if you don't, find the point that stood out to you. Just grab it, think about it every single day, and let it grow into you until you understand it. Till you understand that maybe there's a better way to live your life. And maybe you can be a happier person without having to harm other people to get there. Don't come from this paradigm that you're down here and that you got to bring other people down here, so that, you know, you're probably not even going to understand that one for the person who's that message for, but I'm just going to say it anyway. Don't come from this paradigm that you're down here and that you got to take other people down. Don't come from this paradigm that you're up here and maybe you gotta take other people up, or you want to keep other people down. We're all up here. That's all life is. We're all up here. We're all equal. Everybody's my family. Everyone's my friend. If you honestly betray me, if you honestly wrong me, you know, that's a person I'm not gonna want to talk to. Yes, I understand that, but be realistic with how you're doing that. Like, look at them like they're your family. Like, you're not gonna just not talk to them or wrong them because they talk differently, because they have an attitude, because they have an accent. Now, if they rape or murder someone, yeah, that's an understandable situation, but until it gets to that point, calm your nerves. And then even when it does get to that point, calm your nerves and deal with it like a rational person. That's all I'm asking for you. For us to be more rational, objective people who aren't just letting our automatic feelings, automatic thoughts, automatic impulses, survival instincts that have been built in for us a million years to dictate how we should live our lives anymore, because we don't live in the savannah, we don't live in the jungles anymore. We live here, around all these buildings. I don't know how much of it you see. It's a Taco Bell over there. It's a Taco Bell over there. This is where we live now. And we gotta learn to live our lives differently. We gotta learn to live our lives better. Have a nice day.